Hello, my name is Joana Castro Pereira and I'm a research fellow at the Portuguese Institute of International Relations, Nova University of Lisbon in Portugal. This is a video summary of the article Where the Material and the Symbolic Intertwine, Making Sense of the Amazon in the Anthropocene, which I published with my colleague Maria Fernanda Gebara in Review of International Studies. In this article, we engage with the debate on the Anthropocene and focus on Amazonian indigenous symbolism with the aims of making visible other ways of seeing and relating to forests and the other than human beings they host, and provide insights into possibilities for thinking and acting across different Amazonian worlds. We thus seek to contribute to the discussion about how to respond to the Anthropocene. Our argument is that the socio-ecological crises we currently face are closely linked to our inability to cross borders between human and other than human worlds and acknowledge the different relations between them. We observe that our actions towards other than human beings are mainly informed by a utilitarian ontology. Accordingly, the human relationship to the other than human part of the world has predominantly been one of exploitation, not co-creation. Through the analysis of the Amazonian case, we demonstrate how the dominance of a modernist, exploitative, developmentalist narrative has not only prevented the construction of fruitful and sustainable alliances between human and other than human beings, but also obscured indigenous deeply relational, more than human ontologies and knowledge. These, we argue, provide valuable lessons into how to respond to the challenges of land use in the Anthropocene and possibilities for articulating a post-anthropocentric view of relationality. We thus call for the recognition of the different ways through which we engage with the diverse beings that are part of the forest relational meshwork and call for openness to the possibilities that can emerge from the encounter of diverse forms of knowing and relating to the planet. We start by reviewing the Anthropocene concept and its many critical conceptual variations. We then situate the Amazon in the Anthropocene by both providing an overview of the main threats to the region's more than human populations and asking what the forest actually means. Here we show that the Amazon is seen predominantly as a source of commodities. We focus on how policies for the Amazon have resulted in high cultural and social diversity, which in turn has led to multiple and persistent conflicts among native populations, migrant settlers, and corporate loggers, ranchers, and miners. We also examine how policies for the region have cemented the land uses and structural lock-ins that have driven deforestation and forest degradation over the past decades, and how they have produced and reproduced high economic inequalities and poverty. We address the different visions and interests within the Amazon that have resulted in tensions between developmentalism and environmentalism. Next, and inspired by arguments within what has been called the relational ontological turn in the social sciences, we look at different ways of understanding and knowing that promote simultaneously different, embodied, and enacted ways of being. And here we explore two main ways of perceiving the Amazon. We start by looking at what we call the material world, which emerges from the dominant perception of the Amazon as a provider of resources to be transformed into commodities to be consumed. We subsequently contrast the material way of perceiving the Amazon with the vision of indigenous peoples who, acknowledging the relational dependencies among different life forms, attribute a symbolic meaning to the forest and see the Amazon region as the home of different other than human beings. We provide several examples of the symbolic meanings attributed by different indigenous communities to the forest, which demonstrate indigenous deeply relational ways of seeing and existing in the world. This rests on the assumption that humans and other than human beings coexist in a permanent exchange and complementarity. This assumption is, in our view, key in helping us navigate the Anthropocene. And in this light, flexibility in integrating indigenous understandings into Western cognitive systems is fundamental if we want to move in new directions in perceiving and relating to the Amazon. Finally, following this line of thought and using the acai fruit as an example of the many possibilities of combining local knowledge with modern technological tools and cutting-edge research, we illustrate the intertwinement between the Amazon's material and symbolic worlds, showing that it is possible to think of worlds not in terms of either or, but in terms of both and. This capacity to think about and engage with tensions created between worlds is critical to the development of alternative, inclusive, and more robust approaches to the socio-ecological crisis facing life on Earth in the Anthropocene. By combining different worlds, we may overcome the tensions between developmentalism and environmentalism that exist in the Amazon and forge the necessary alternative development paradigms to fight inequalities and poverty, promote the well-being of Amazonian populations, and protect the forests other than human beings, thus safeguarding the Amazon's resilience. I hope that this brief summary has made you want to read the article, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to get in touch. Thank you for watching.